Hello and welcome to the Bedroom Studios podcast, the podcast where we talk about what goes on behind the scenes in a musician's world and bridge the industry gap by bringing their stories, expertise, and advice to early career artists. Subscribe to join us for a fun chat about life as a creative person, tips and tricks for pursuing an artistic career, navigating the music industry, and more. I am your host, Emma, and today I will be interviewing Laura Welle. Laura Bazzucchi, aka Laura Welle, is an Italian singer-songwriter now based in Toronto. After building a diverse repertoire of cover songs, she passed an audition in 2016 in Milan for independent Italian record label Rosso Al Tramonto. She co-wrote her first single, Ci Ballo Su, together with Luca Sala, an Italian singer-songwriter who has been working with big names of the Italian music industry. The song was played on nearly 150 Italian radio stations and reached more than 100,000 views on YouTube. In 2017, she decided to adopt the stage name Laura Welle to move towards the international music market. Between 2018 and 2019, she wrote and recorded her first indie pop EP in English. Along with dropping singles as an independent artist, Laura collaborated on 2 projects with independent British label Krafted, which releases electronic music. The first one was called The Wave, an EP that was made up of 8 different versions of the same song, written by Laura and produced by Paul Sawyer. The EP reached 11th position on electronic music section on iTunes. These results made Krafted decide to work on another EP, Burning, that dropped June 10th, 2022. The track was later broadcast several times on BBC Radio 1, reaching number 1 on Beatport, holding the position for almost a month. Her latest single, Ladylike, was produced by Toronto artist Samosa King and has seen the most immediate growth in ratings since the release day. I had a really amazing time chatting with Laura, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bedroom Studios podcast. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for this because you actually reached out to me. I hadn't known you previously, which I think is really cool, really gutsy. And I really respect that. So I'm so happy to have you on to talk more about your art and your journey.
Thank you very much. You're so kind. Thank you.
Oh. So why don't we just go right into it and we'll listen to one of your songs, give our audience a taste.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Do you want to introduce your song?
Yeah, the song is called Ladylike, and I decided to write a song because this is part of my personal experience as a woman in music, and it happens most of the times that there are people that, especially men, that want to guide you, but in a sort of mansplaining. We can talk about mansplaining, and this is my personal experience, and I decided to talk about it in Ladylike. And when you're a woman in music, you're not taken into consideration most of the time. So this is my point of view, and I decided to share it with the world.
Speak only when spoken to. This is not a look that suits you. You should dye your hair, you should get a tan. You should gain weight, but not so much. And I knew it from the start that it would have been this hard, but they would make me fall apart. They say that I'm not kind, but when I speak my mind, maybe this is why I'm not ladylike. Can't say what's on my mind. I have to say the right thing at the right time. Say hi, call smile, and wave all the damn time. They say don't be so honest, but I'm crystal clear, ocean water. Don't you know I'm in constant frenzy? Hey, I don't have a penny, but I dream of the Grammys. They say that I'm not kind, but when I speak my mind, maybe this is why I'm not ladylike. Ladylike, ladylike. play the role, girl, or you get critics. Smooth edges, then you look pretty. But I can't deny the truth I'm breathing. But this ain't in my warehouse. It would burn all the castles down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And for what it's worth, I'm begging it all. They say that I'm not kind, but when I speak my mind, maybe this is why I'm not ladylike. Ladylike. And maybe this is why I'm not ladylike. And I'm not ladylike, cause instead of Austin, I read Frankenstein.
Really nice.
Thank you.
I love that little ending bit.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about literature because I studied it in high school. I studied foreign languages, and I studied, English literature, English and American, Spanish and French literature, and German, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's cool, and I'm very, I'm a fan of horror and gothic novels, and Frankenstein and like Dracula, it's like a symbol for what concerns the gothic novel. And it's something that people do not expect from me, because they see me like, blonde with blue eyes, and it's something like could be more I don't know, something more like I write love songs, but but I'm not actually into love songs. So yeah, when I talk about my passions, people do not expect something like that from me, and I decided to talk about this like right in the end, and yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. I think that message fits so well with the song, as I think a lot of times people will sort of see the most obvious parts of us, or make assumptions based on the things that we present.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to unpack more of the messages in the songs and their experiences. I can definitely relate to that a lot. Like, other than people shouting at me when I walk in downtown when I'm just walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced a lot of sexism and discrimination, but the place that I feel very aware that like I'm the only female in the room is when I go to open mics, or when I go to any music industry event that's not specifically geared towards women in music. There's no females there, and it just makes you very hyper aware of that.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, do I belong in this space? I don't even know.
Yeah, but I totally agree, because I think we are in the same situation, and you always have to prove more, that you are capable of doing something, and you need to show proof, something, because I'm a singer-songwriter, and sometimes there are people that are like, oh, you write your own music, is that real? So it's like, okay, why are you telling me this? Why are you asking me? Why are you in doubt? It's so we need to always be patient, but I think that there are things that are changing, and the music industry is more open, is open for women right now. If we go back, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there was a different situation, and maybe now, we are going step by step. So
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think now, see, I can only speak to my own experiences, so
Yeah.
You know, this is not a representation of the entire music industry or the entire Toronto scene, but like,
of course,
I feel like men are aware of it, and they try to help, but like you said, it kind of they end up just mansplaining.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I would consider myself to be confident in myself. It was a long journey, but I think I have like a tiny little shred of self-confidence now versus like 0 years ago. But when I come into certain spaces, I still find myself reverting back to that like shyness and being very timid and being kind of scared to go up, especially when it's essentially you're walking into a boys club and they're like only playing rock music, which is not something I'm super familiar with. And so you can tell, like, they see, they're like, oh this poor girl, we gotta, like, you know, let's show her the ropes and let's help her out, and like, which is, you know, good and well intentioned. But then when they actually hear me play, they're like, oh, okay, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
I wish that they wouldn't do that, because all I need is a friendly face. Like, I don't need someone to tell me what to do. I just need someone to like be like, hey, come on, let's do it. I'm like, cool.
Absolutely.
Like they would with other men who walk in who haven't been there before.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think we are, you know, in the same exact situation. Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, and so you mentioned that you moved to Toronto recently.
Yeah.
Do you find that there is a difference between here and in Italy?
And Italy? Yeah, absolutely yes. And I really love the city, and there are many opportunities for, you know, independent musicians to connect here. And unfortunately, we don't have these kind of, you know, meetings in Italy. We don't have, you know, in Italy we have a sort of, you can be signed to a big label or you just stop doing music. It's, you know, it's nothing. It's black or white. You don't have a gray zone when you can be an independent musician. And it's hard. And this is why I decided to move here. And because, you know, many people are listening to my music from the US and from Canada on Spotify and Apple Music. And I also started many collaborations in the US and here in Toronto. So I wanted to be part of the community, you know, just to be here physically, you know.
That's so awesome.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Congratulations on making such a big jump. I have so much respect for you for like really pursuing what you want and moving across the world to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so your music has a very unique style.
Thank you.
Was that a style of music that you always gravitated to, or did you find it over time?
Well, you know, I like to experiment a lot, and I got many influences, which is pop music, R&B, but also electronic music. And I try to mix everything. And I released Ladylike last November, but the previous song was something that was totally different from, you know, when you talk about the style and the topic, the genre, and I want to experiment, and I want to give people a wider range of myself. Like, okay, I can do this, but I can also try with other things, and I am very open to, you know, to progress, you know, in music, and
Very cool. What sort of things have you done to market your releases? Because you have a lot of streams on Spotify, which is so great. Was that just something that happened, or did you? What did you do to give momentum?
Well, I try to connect with people on Instagram and TikTok, and also with some streaming platforms and some apps like Stationhead, which is a very good app for independent musicians, because this app works as a radio station where you have many fandoms, and they are always open to find new people for what concerns we have many different genres, and we have, for instance, Harry Styles fandom, and but they are also open to find new people that could be close to his genre, and so they want to discover new musicians, new singer-songwriters, new bands, and you can request your song, and if they like it, if they vibe with it, they play it. And the beautiful thing is that they can play it over and over again. And so if they like it, they want to to add it into their playlist. And many people discovered my music through Stationhead, so it's cool. I highly recommend. Yeah.
I love it when we find those resources that are not necessarily controlled by industry people or the people with all the money, when it's like more organic and it's like real people genuinely wanting to hear your music.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's not easy, to approach industry people, and it's not, it's not a walk in the park, we could say.
Yeah, and like from what I've heard, a lot of people who have the money and who have the resources to support artists, they want to see that. Like they want to see, oh, you have a lot of streams. Okay, then we'll support you, or you've gone on tour, you've done X, Y, and Z. But it's like that. There's that gap of how do we get to that point where people will notice us, and we have to do it on our own, or so it seems like we have to do it on our own.
Yeah, because I am absolutely convinced that the best years for what concerns, the discovery of an artist were the 80s, where, you could be signed from scratch, because Spotify wasn't a thing. We didn't have internet, and we didn't have streaming services. So people were like, okay, I like your voice, I like your style. I want to sign you to, I don't know, Universal Music. I don't know. And the A&Rs were doing all the work to promote, the artist. And right now it's hard. But I think, that we also need labels if you want to make the leap, just to go even farther, because of course we don't have the resources, we don't have enough money to for promotion and everything that could be done by a recording label. So of course,
I find that especially this year I've really had to learn how to almost like be the CEO of my own company.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the CEO of a lemonade stand. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like we have to do everything. I get discouraged because I don't know everything, and I'm still learning, and I'm trying to educate myself and take advice and try to make things happen, but I don't know everything. And so I'm finding it really hard to be patient.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what, in your opinion, was a moment in your career that you felt the most proud of, or a success you've achieved? And then also was there also a moment on the other side of it that seemed like really disappointing or frustrating, but that you learned a lot from?
Oh, well, I would say when I participated in a British project with Krafted Records, which is an independent label in near London, and I participated in 2 EPs, with Paul Sawyer, which is a British producer. And, the EPs were broadcast on BBC Radio 1 many times. And that was huge for me because that was the first time that an independent British label got, those results. And they were very proud as well, because that was incredible for them, because they are tiny dimension in the music scene in London. And that was huge, because I was in Italy. I was still in Italy, and we were collaborating, in a remote mode, and and when you listen to your voice in in a sort of, it's big, and you can't imagine that is happening. It's like, okay, this is me, and they are broadcasting me on BBC Radio 1. Okay. Wow. Somebody pinch me, it's like, okay. Yeah, it's crazy. And an experience that was, not so good. I would say that we were during the pandemic, and I was like emailing people my EP that I wanted to pitch. I wanted to pitch my music to labels or to everyone that was industry related. And I got an email back from Gomes, who is the producer. He discovered Christina Aguilera in the 90s, and he liked 2 songs off of my EP. But since I'm not, an American citizen, he couldn't do anything. So I was like, okay, we're in the middle of the virus, and I'm stuck in Italy. And there's this person on the other side of the world that vibe with my music, that is vibing with my music, but he can't do anything. So it was really frustrating. But it was like something, okay, I'm doing this in the right way, because that was a good feedback, that was positive, because there was someone that he
saw your potential.
Yeah, exactly, he saw potential. So it's cool, but
it's like a bittersweet moment.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I find most bittersweet moments tend to happen over email for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of haunting. I don't know. Yeah. Exactly, but it's life, Yeah. It's a sort of roller coaster.
With all the things that you're talking about in your song, and what people say to you or how they perceive you, how have you dealt with that, or what have you done to sort of overcome it?
Well, I think confidence. This is the answer, because when you are aware of yourself, you are, what your skills are, and that you can do this and you can do that, then you can be, okay, and you can say, okay, this person is not right for me, and I just need to move on. It's just to be self-aware. I think this is key for us women, and we need to show confidence when we approach people, especially men in the music industry, and so that they do not fool us, So I think it's this. Yeah,
it's funny how even if there's no one standing over us saying very specifically, oh, you have to do this a certain way, you have to talk or look a certain way, we feel it. There's expectations that are there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even when I'm performing or just in my everyday life, in my everyday life, I'm more of a, I like to wear what is comfortable. And you know, if I'm wearing a piece of clothing that I'm constantly having to adjust, it's annoying to me and I don't want to wear it. But there are times when, you know, I'll have an article of clothing that sort of brings out certain features or that I think I look really nice in. I'm like, I'm going to be perceived differently because of this piece of clothing I'm wearing. I don't know if guys can relate to that or if they even think about that, you know?
No, I don't think they can. They can relate to what you're talking about, because this is something that it is only, you know, related to women, and and also it happens when I need to, you know, when I meet someone for the first time, I always think about, okay, what should I wear to give the right impression, you know? And men do not face this. No, just they they wear the first thing and it's okay, you know, it's a t-shirt, okay? Yeah, sure. But when you're a woman, they okay. They are like, why did you choose? Why did you choose to have, you know, to wear this dress? And this is a red dress. Why a red dress, not a green one? Something like, okay, because red dress can be a symbol for passion, you know, for luxury. You know, something that and something that could be sexualized, you know, something. It's always thinking, and it's overthinking, and it's part of us, and it's really, it can be very frustrating and could be very stressful for us, always to think and think, okay, I have to do this, I have to do the right move, I have to say the right thing at the right time, like in Ladylike. And it's always, you know, pressure over pressure all the time.
Yeah, it reminds me of I took this course when I was in my undergrad about landscape, and like it was a geography course, and something that really stuck with me was how, especially in the past, when they would create landscape paintings and things like that, it was very gendered, and they viewed the landscape as being like female because it was the thing that was being looked at and the thing that was being perceived, and then the person who was looking at it, that was the male, where the male is the one who looks and who perceives, and then the female is the person that is looked at and is perceived.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I realized in my relationships, I think a lot about how am I being perceived? How are they thinking about me? And I don't think as much about how do I feel and how do I see other people. So like if a relationship doesn't work or just things aren't going well, I see it as my fault of like I did something wrong, and so they're thinking this thing about me and it's my fault. And instead of it being like, okay, they did things that weren't great as well, or maybe it just wasn't a right fit, like they weren't right for me, instead of it just being like I wasn't right for them, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because we tend to make them feel comfortable, but we're not, you know, at the same time, we're not, okay, we're just trying to be like perfect for them. And so they are, they're comfortable with us being around, you know, and
Yeah, so
exactly.
I think Ladylike is such a powerful song because it goes against that. It's like, no, I'm not going to be perfect for you. It's impossible to be perfect for everyone. You can't tell me what I need to be. Yeah, it's like we're the only ones who can decide that for ourselves.
Yeah, because, you know, we can't meet everybody's expectations. It's, we are who we are. So, yeah, it's okay. And it's okay that because this is what makes us unique. And just, you know, we should be proud of ourselves sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
We should remind.
We have to.
We have to, yeah.
Yeah, we have to, or else we just it's not fun anymore. We burn out, and like, what was it all for if not to feel just a little bit proud of ourselves, just a little bit.
Yeah, we should, look back and say, okay, this is gonna be, a good ride, and this is, yeah, it's cool, it's good, yeah.
Yeah. And in Toronto, now that you're here, have you found that you've been able to find some spaces that lift you up?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to the Open Art House in Dufferin, like 9 days after my my move in Canada.
Wow.
It's like,
oh my goodness.
It was incredible, yeah, because I was following them on Instagram, and then I saw this event and I decided to, okay, I need to go. I have to be I have to be there. And there was a new experience for me. And because in Italy, we don't have this. We don't have this, meetings with artists, with creatives. And it was like, okay, this is my place. Okay, I feel at home, something like that.
That's awesome.
And it was incredible. Yeah. And it was incredible to meet, many talented people, and to share stories and to share experiences. And people were like, okay, you are coming from Italy? What? They were like, okay. They were very surprised. And I was, okay, thank you. And they were, oh, you're so brave, And it was very, it was, I felt very proud of myself, just to be there. And thank you. And I was, there was a very good experience. And I'm going to participate tonight at a contest, which is the listening party, which is in Dufferin again. It is at Heart House again, and because Ladylike was selected for a contest, which is, so I need to go there tonight. So yeah. I don't know what to expect, but I think it will be fun to just to connect with people, just to be around with some creatives.
Yeah. I live just outside of Toronto, so I'm trying to create some sort of work-life balance so that I can go downtown and participate in musician life without having to completely burn out.
Yeah, because right now I'm in Don Mills, which is North York, because it's not easy for us newcomers to to find
and it's so expensive
home.
Downtown. Oh my goodness.
It's very expensive, and and so I need to I need to change 3 lines, and it's crazy, but we're all in this together,
Yeah, the commute is rough.
Yeah.
Aside from the contest, do you have any new projects coming up or things that you're working on?
I'm working on a new song that and I am waiting for the instrumental from Jay Uruko, and who is an American producer and songwriter, and he has actually Torontonian roots. And I didn't know this because it's crazy because I collaborated with him for another song, which is Stranger, that came out 1 year ago. And I didn't know that he had Torontonian origins, and then when I told him that I was moving to Toronto, he told me, "Oh, really? My parents are from Toronto, and I go to Toronto every summer." And I was, "No way!" And I was like, "Okay, and okay, we need to meet, during summer." And he said, "Oh, sure, of course we should meet," And so I can't wait to meet him in person, because I always, collaborating remotely, and I always consider the gap, the time zone, and it was crazy. But now I'm in the same, time zone area, so it's okay for me to communicate with people, because I don't have to say, okay, I'm awake, but they are sleeping right now, so it's so it's cool. And but it's crazy, because the song that is coming out, I don't know when will be out, but I decided to record the vocals in Italy, because I was completely sure that would be easier for me, because I have to move, I have to to find a house and everything, and so I don't have time to record right now, so I need to do this in Italy. So I got the vocals ready, and so I only need the instrumental, and then we will release everything. And I can't wait to do this, because I'm really excited. And actually I got a gig at Horseshoe Tavern, and I think you will be performing there too.
Yeah. Next week.
It's cool. You're going to perform there, yeah. And I will be there on July the 8th. So it's cool.
So cool.
Yeah, for songwriting nights. Yeah, songwriter night.
Yeah. If I'm not working that day, I will come and watch.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I have a question about your music releases. Do you find that certain songs that are released at a certain time of year do better than others? That, I don't know, it's kind of a weird question, but like, for example, if you were like, you're not going to release a pop song in December because everyone's listening to Christmas music. But do you find that as an indie artist, there's certain I guess months that are just good for releasing music? Yeah,
sure. Absolutely, yes, because I try to avoid Christmas time, and when there are music projects from big artists that has been announced months before. So for instance, we know that Taylor Swift is going to to release an album on that month. Okay, I'm not doing this, because I know that everyone is listening to her. So for instance, and absolutely, yes. And also in Italy, we have a festival which is Sanremo, which is a festival that is held in February. So no one is releasing music in February, because everyone is paying attention to that festival. So so I can say that I have particular times during the year that I have to release music right now, and I need to pause.
It's hard because it's a lot of it we have no control over.
I know.
So you mentioned that you work with a lot of different producers. How did you get in touch with them? Were you just like emailing them cold, or did you have like mutual connections? It
happens, it's something like I approached them. but also the other way around, because they find me on TikTok or Instagram, and they decide to, you know, to shoot me a message, and they want to collaborate on something, because maybe, I don't know, they think that my style is something that, no, they like, and they want to be part of a project. And this is this is the genesis of every song of mine.
Yes.
If I can say. So
That's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How do you filter through those kinds of messages in terms of knowing who can you trust or who would be a good fit, and who's like a bot or someone who's not who they say they are? Yeah,
I am very, I could be, I don't know, maybe an FBI agent for this, because I always try to see who's that person, and I want to be sure that, you know, they're releasing good music, and they are capable of doing what they are talking about, of course. So I first search for their music, and I look through their profiles, and I want to make sure who I'm talking to, of course. So
So you mentioned that you have your show at the Horseshoe Tavern coming up, which is so exciting.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, hopefully this episode will be out before then. So if you are listening to this podcast, go see the show and support. Yeah. So my last two questions are, one is, what resource or piece of advice would you give to your younger self when you were beginning your journey?
I would say just keep going no matter what, and trust your instinct. Trust your, your sixth sense, if we can say. Yeah, it's something that as women have, when we feel something that is not working, and we should trust our instinct. This.
That is so true. That's something I've been trying to do a lot. Yeah. Listen to what my body is telling me. My body knows.
Exactly.
Know when something's not right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And last question is, do you have a music recommendation for our playlist?
Oh, yeah. I would say something like, I don't know, Post Malone and Jesse Reyes. Yeah, I like them a lot, and they are, part of my inspiration for what concerns my music as well. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was so nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Bedroom Studios podcast. Don't forget to add this podcast to your playlist, and to like and follow on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify at Bedroom Studios Podcast. Also follow our playlist of guest music recommendations, as well as our Song Spotlight playlist, where we feature music our guests have created, as well as music from artists and bands across the GTA. And definitely follow Laura on social media at I am Laura Welle, and that will be linked in the description, so make sure to check out her music. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.